Welcome to Rauta, welcome to Vaan Records Festival Acherontic Arts IV, and this time we travel to the world of what we could say blackened death metal with these guys who are not shying away from Lovecraftian themes and whatnot, and of course in very, very interesting, detailed metal music from the extreme side of things. So let's introduce the guests of today. Sir, please state your name and what the hell are you doing here with me?
I'm in Sulphur Aeon or Torsten, what you prefer, and I'm the songwriter, play guitar, and I'm here for playing show and doing the interview.
All right, thank you. And what about you, sir?
My name is Martin. I am the vocalist and lyricist, and well, pleasure to meet you. And we are doing this interview now, and it's first for me, so bear with me.
We will do that. So first, let's tackle the obvious questions. What the hell is Sulphur Aeon about the name? It's not like the most obvious, death metal name in a way.
Difficult. I think he came up with the name. It was about choosing a name that represents like an age of absolute chaos and darkness, and we thought like maybe we choose the sulfur thing because it's born out of fire, and it has to do with like, I don't know, it's first question really fucked up. Because I really don't know what
this end time thing. I had to wanted a name that in a way sounds huge, and has this end time vibe.
Well, yeah, definitely have like, hey, this is not some great party time, but everything is gonna get fucked and destroyed and all.
It's a dystopian thing, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
now the question
about
is,
the reign of fire and reign of fire and chaos.
Very, very fitting for a death metal band in that sense. Well, why are you fascinated by these topics? I mean, we all are kind of weird cases in extreme metal, but what's your story? Why you want to do stuff about end times and destruction and chaos?
That's another difficult, very, very difficult question. I think I've always been like a monster kid. Like I always liked the scary stuff. And as I grew up and eventually got into metal, it was like initially the dark themes that attracted me. So that's pretty much the entire story. It's not like, oh shit, man.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, I get it where you're going for, because I remember when I was a kid, and, coming from the background of, comic books and role-playing games and all that crazy sci-fi meets horror meets fantasy, whatever. And suddenly I was like, okay, I must be the only nerd who actually likes this kind of music. Then I got to know a lot of these, say, Finnish black metal guys, for instance. And pretty much everybody was, growing up with Star Wars or Warhammer or Dungeons and Dragons and, of course, Tolkien. So it's like, okay, so everybody else is here is geek, but why all the geeks like this kind of extreme metal music? And I mean, now it seems like kind of a default setting, but that's what I was thinking, like, what led you to the world of metal when you could just be, I don't know, reading Lovecraft and painting Warhammer miniatures instead?
The Lovecraft thing came way later, but I was always attracted to monsters. I'm always been a huge Godzilla fan, for example.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I like dinosaurs and comic books and shit. And I've recently discovered an old folder with pictures that I drew when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And there was some pretty weird stuff. So I guess I have always been kind of attracted to these kind of themes. Well, and as I grew older and discovered metal and discovered the themes in metal, it was a no-brainer, I think.
Yeah, it was more like, hey, I'm Morbid Angel, welcome to the club.
Yeah, that's like a bit of, well, at first, like, being raised a good kid and being raised Catholic, it was a step to be taken.
Yeah, can I even like this?
Yeah, can I do that?
Yeah.
Even like bands like Obituary, I was thinking, can I like that? Is that possible? But once you've taken that step, like, okay, I can like gory music about horror. Yeah, I can also like music about Satan, and maybe be even a bit more interested in that than what I've been told and what I've been taught.
Yeah, taking the door open and like going through the gates of hell in a way. What about you? What's your story coming into this world, like creating somewhat even technical, but not highly technical, but let's say very, very diverse take on death metal versus the very simplistic Obituary riffs and all that stuff, and creating these themes, getting into the cosmic horrors and whatever. Like, what's the story for Torsten?
The music, it just came at a point when I was thinking, okay, all the other bands I played before at some point didn't work for me, and then I was finished with a band. Yeah. So I just, friend of mine, I told him, here, I have a computer, please make me a Cubase or whatever and make it as easy as possible so that I can write songs without anybody telling me what's working and what's not working. I just wrote it for myself. And there is no master plan, there never was. I'm inspired by bands, of course, but there was no master plan. It's just natural what comes out of me. So
I find your music very, very interesting because it's kind of like has so many different ingredients. Certain ideas are definitely very, very black metallic, even to the degree of having growl vocals with the rather raspier takes and even clean ones. And then, of course, you have these kind of a heavy metal vibes, a little bit of guitar solos or solo-ish parts. Maybe not full-scale solos, but kind of like beyond, not just the lead guitar thing, but getting a little bit on the solos department. So it's almost like heavy metal blending with death metal, with black metal, with all that stuff. Like, how do you keep yourself, using a metaphor here, how do you keep your car on track rather than going full off-road?
I can't explain. It's really like I feel it if a song works. I only work at one song at a time. I never work on different ideas, just one song. And the most difficult part for me is the starting point of the song. And once this is done, then I don't know, it flows naturally. It takes a lot of time for me. I'm a really slow songwriter, but I have no scheme or something like this, or really a master plan. It's just it sounds.
So you're channeling.
It's it's from the heart, really heart music.
But talking of
but I think that even though, but I think even though. There's manifold ideas coming into this music. There's always this, I don't want to say border, but I think he once told me that he has to feel that it sounds like Sulphur Aeon.
Yeah.
Because when it does not when it like steps over a line, it's maybe too heavy metal. I think his head stops.
I mean, I know that a lot of people, like when they have their kind of a signature style of creating music, they kind of automatically know, like, okay, this is the line, I'm not gonna stepping out of it. But you can get very, very fucking close. It's almost like driving a boat, like, okay, this is the waterways, and then you almost touch the.
Yeah.
Just almost.
All right, correct. The boundaries are there, I think, but they are not very close together. Like it's not like a small stream, but a very, very wide river with
a Rhine.
Yeah, like
and it expanded over the years
with like meandering,
Yeah, makes sense. That's a good way to describe it. Which leads us to the vocal department. You are not definitely one-trick pony, just doing the basic growly vocals. I mean, nothing wrong with that, obviously, but you kind of show your skill and repertoire going from, the very deep end classic growl death metal stuff to rather kind of a black metallic take with the rasp. And suddenly they're like this almost like heavy or or what should we say, classic doom kind of vibes where it just gets kind of a cleaner. How do you do it, and when do you know how to stop in a certain end? I know it's a difficult question, but
The question is, how do I know when to start?
okay, that's a good one.
I think we have not incorporated any clean vocals on the first two albums. I wanted to do on the second album, but it kind of did not happen. Maybe because I was too shy, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a brave step after all.
First that, and I think the corset was a bit narrower, I think. It just took a tiny bit of more motivation. And that's exactly what happened when we recorded The Size of Cosmic Chaos. When I was in the studio, I met Michael for the first time, and we kind of clicked. And we have talked a lot about our backgrounds, which certainly is black metal for me as well as for him. But also like stuff like traditional heavy metal, goth rock, touch of doom. So we sat there when we were tracking the vocals, and when I was in the cabin singing, he was like, maybe this is the time where probably some clean vocals would fit. Can you do that? And I was like, I don't know. Can I do that? So I just did, and he was like, okay, you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that you can.
It was really a funny situation, and we enjoyed it very much. So we experimented a little bit, and we took it a bit further on the album after that. So on Seven Crowns, we explored it a bit more.
Yeah.
So we used I think I was 4 days at the studio. We explored that a bit more. We didn't want to do it to overdo it. But we wanted to experiment a bit, make it a little bit different than on the album before. And I think we achieved that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that there is this, and definitely sets you apart from a lot of those more traditional death metal bands which just growl, or even those black death metal bands which just kind of grow from raspy to growly, but not beyond that. So I think it's a big step, and it's a very fascinating detail. And the question to that is how you maintain, how you upkeep your vocal cords. Do you have to think about like drinking or going out or whatever in terms of performing and all?
You know, when we went on our tour in 2019, which was the first tour we ever did, and to this day the only tour we did, I was so nervous before, because I've never done that, like 10 dates in a row every night, 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, because I never had any training. I do not have vocal routine. I'm not the guy that like warms up like in the back and like backstage and goes like or whatever.
Yeah.
I never learned that, and I kind of don't want to, because I feel like as soon as I, let's say, take vocal lessons, I feel that but I'm afraid that there could be some of that what I have get lost.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it maybe it's like just in my head, but I feel that that could be a possibility. But as I said, when we did the tour, that was the thing that really fucked me up. Like, before we started, I got really nervous. I'm still getting nervous before any gig. but that tour, that really messed my head up a bit. But when we were done, I was like, well, that kind of worked. It was very difficult because after each night I was like, sounded like I've seen an old interview with David Vincent once, and it was after a week, and he was like speaking like this the entire time, and I sounded kind of similar, but it kind of worked every night, even though it was very tough, but it was also very much fun.
Very rewarding, I guess, when you survived it, that made it happen. All right, talking about lyrics then again, you're very articulate with you can clearly hear certain words, which I, as a colleague vocalist, can really appreciate a lot, because I find that there are lots of bands when you just go on stage and it's kind of like mumbling. It's just like, I actually have no lyrics. Kind of like, okay, you're kind of faking it until making it, but you're very, say something, some words really clear. Okay, I don't need a lyric sheet to figure out what this guy is talking about. Is that important, or is it just something that happens naturally?
I think I've always done it like that. I mean, it's not like Sulphur Aeon is my first band. I've always done it like that, and I think it's kind of, just to mention him again, the David Vincent school.
Yep.
He's also very articulate.
Yes, very great vocalist for that reason too.
I don't think it is necessarily important, but for me, I want to sound like I want to be articulate. But when I listen to music, I don't need that particularly. I also like war black metal stuff, and so stuff like you don't.
Kind of a barbaric chanting, and you don't really hear what they're saying.
But I also like bands that are really articulate. So it's a thing I want for me. Yeah, it's just a thing I like to do. I don't think that does not need any more explanation.
Okay, fair enough. Now, let's get back to the guitar work then again. Obviously, like mentioned before, you have lots of different details. What kind of music inspires you these days? I mean, you're not exactly the new kid in 20s to the school, and you have a lot of years in the past and even previous bands and all that stuff. So what makes you tick these days when you grab the guitar and thinking of the riffs and the melodies or solo-ish parts?
Yeah, the solo-ish parts, I have to mention Michael again. He was very important to give me confidence in that, because I was never happy with my guitar tone when it comes to leads, because I always feel they sounded a little bit crappy. Other guitar players can do it better. And it was in the studio when Michael said, man, your tone is fantastic, and do it more and overdo it. And it really gave me confidence to implement more of these small solo parts. And I'm taking guitar lessons again since half a year to improve my technique. I had a really worse right hand technique, and it got really stressful for my arm. So I have to change it. Found a super teacher, and now I'm working on more technical stuff, but just to improve my playing. It's stuff that would not work for Sulphur Aeon. Yeah. So for practicing, for example, I'm trying to learn a necrophagist song, but just for the technique. And this is something I would never do in Sulphur Aeon.
Yeah, if he ever comes up with that, I'm out.
And I don't know what inspires me. I think for Sulphur Aeon, what inspired me are these bands like Emperor, Dissection, Behemoth. These were, I think, Nile, the most important inspirational bands. But I listen to so many stuff. I listen to very modern stuff, which he hates. But I don't know if it inspires me. It's just, I like bands that break boundaries. And
well, I guess that kind of makes your sound also the kind of a refreshing, because it's not just stuck with one given pattern in a way.
No, I'm very open-minded when it comes to music, and whatever I think fits the song and makes the song better, I do it. And I don't care if anyone says, this is not fast enough, or this is too melodic, or whatever. I don't care. The song has to get this feeling, and if a melody adds this feeling, then the melody will be there.
Correct. And I think that in some way, all music you listen to is somehow inspiring you subconsciously, whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
I think it's like really like that.
I mean, yeah, I know. Sometimes you hear like even a pop song and you're like, I don't even like this song. Oh, this melody is actually, how it would work if you put it on a guitar and gave it like a little bit of a death metal treatment. So I guess I think what you mean about that. Talking about the other members, however, how important it is for them to understand like what comes out of your guitar and what comes out of your mouth with the lyrics and all. Like the drumming obviously is not just, AC/DC really.
No, Daniel is very important. He's also responsible for all this technical stuff when it comes to in-ear system,
he's a tech nerd.
He is. And when I write the songs, I make it with programmed drums, and mostly he plays it the way I program it, but he has all the freedom. I always say, okay, there's a blast beat, I programmed it. If you have something better, then do it. So everyone has its freedom to do. It's also when it comes to playing live, I show the riffs and the songs to the bass player and to the other guitar player. But it's not if he plays this chord or that chord, if it fits, and even in a live context.
But is he really? Because I always thought that he gives much more like than just playing what has been programmed before. Every time we are in the rehearsal place, and last time when I kind of lost my voice, like 2 songs before we were finished. And I just sat down and just listened to the drums, and I'm always and ever again fascinated, like for example, how he plays devotion to the cosmic chaos. It's like it's fascinating. I can't really describe, but the patterns he plays, I think I have no idea about drumming,
Yeah.
But I really, really like it. He gives some really great nuances.
Yeah, that's very important when we're talking about music, which is quite diverse, such in your case.
As he's always a bit sad that when we record, the vocals are the last thing, because when the vocals come, the drums are already finished. And if I knew that you sing this way, I had more accents on your vocals. But it's not the way we do it.
But
it makes it
again,
live.
but then again, I know where the drums are, so I can do something. Like
it's kind of a
to
two-way street
comfort
in a
the
way.
drums,
Yeah, definitely. How is Sulphur Aeon, in your opinion, how it is live? I mean, how is the live feeling for Sulphur Aeon? I mean, how do you think it's supposed to look like to the audience or feel like?
Yeah, we're not an action band on stage. It's like we don't do a lot of movement. The light must not be too fancy. no circus.
We want a moody setting, like
setting,
dark
some
lights, fog.
And I think it's the main part is for him. He is the main part when it comes to stage performance, and I think we other guys just play and try to feel the music. I don't think should I this way or that way. I just do what I feel to do. Let the music do the talking. Yes.
Right. Before we are gonna wrap things up and all that stuff, let's pick some of the favorites, like maybe where the new fans hopefully will now pick up from. So, is there a favorite release or some say favorite song even that you would say like you should totally start listening with this or that?
Oh gee.
Yeah, I know it's horrible to pick your favorite babies, but we'll have to try.
There are some songs that I really enjoy playing live. Like, for example, I say classics because they are older songs, like especially Gateway and Devotion from both from the second album. I think they go very well with the audience. Also, the title song of the last album, because that's, I don't know if it's a good gateway to the band, you know, but because it differs very much from what we usually do. But this is the song I would definitely recommend listening to. But also the first two songs on the third album, so like
Cult?
Yeah, Cult of Starry Wisdom and Yugothian Spell, the double. That's also one of my favorite live things. But it's very, very, very exhausting, especially Yugothian Spell, because it frequently goes from clean vocals to screams to growls. Like, if that song is done, I'm also done, but it's mostly in the beginning of the set, so...
Yeah. What about you? Is there like a starting point you feel like, okay, in order in case you don't know anything of the band, this is the song you start with?
Yeah, maybe Devotion is one of my favorites, but also from the first album, Incantation and Swallowed. But of course the sound evolved over the years. So Hammer from the Howling Void is some of my favorites to play live, and I think this should be good starting points. It's I think our sound is it's hard to pick out 3 or 4 songs. But
yeah, of course, that's the hard one.
Yeah, it depends on what you prefer. Maybe there are some guys that say, okay, the title song of the new album is gone too far for me for death metal, and other guys say this is perfect. It was a really challenging song for me because it's the first time I didn't write the song alone. I wrote this with Loimu and Chapel of Disease, and it was very difficult for me to learn his solo parts because he has a total different playing style.
Yeah,
this
of course.
Bluesy note, I don't know. It's
kind of a dire straits thing.
Yeah, and it was really challenging for me to put it into my way to perform it live.
Yeah, of course. Now, once again, before we wrap things up, now people, I guess, are hoping to see you live too. So let's play a little bit of fortune teller, where people should, I guess, see you on stage for 25, 26, 27 even. Do you have any plans, like people mark up their calendars?
I think the only show now is Burning Hue. Am I correct?
No,
no, in Mainz. In Mainz. It was,
No, not Mainz, in Leipzig.
Leipzig, okay. Leipzig.
Come on.
Leipzig is in May.
Yeah, 31st of May.
And the Burning Hue, I think these are the only
Yeah.
gigs this year that are
Confirmed.
confirmed.
So people have to kind of check up on your, I guess, social media for the news and all. All right. Any final words to the audience? Now someone is hopefully picking the guitar and making notes like, I want to play it like that guy too. So what you would tell to this upcoming guitarist right there?
Oh, I'm not the one. I'm not the one to give any advice because I'm still learning. So just practice and do it with joy.
For you, someone there is like, okay, I want to be the vocalist who can handle it all. And this guy's not even taking the learning lessons. So what kind of a tip you could give?
I would just say, probably do it like me and just do it. Like, no compromise.
No compromise.
Because I think if someone tells you how to do shit, like, for me, it does not work.
All right, fair enough. No, people, you should know at least a little bit more what goes inside of these guys' brains, what makes them tick, what makes their music so fascinating and all. So whenever you got the possibility, there are not too many dates out there, but keep your eyes and ears and all other senses peeled for these Lovecraftian horrors to come near you. Or if not, maybe you should consider traveling. It's one of the best things to do, travel and see gigs. So, ladies and gentlemen and other people, Sulphur Aeon, thank you so much, guys. It was nice to have you. And
Thank you. Was a pleasure.
And thank you for listening.
Yeah. And this is Acherontic Arts IV. This is Rauta. This is Germany. Off you go. Bye-bye. Dankeschön. And before you go, let's take a quick photo, both as a memory for me and also for the social media purposes. When this goes out, I will always post.